Hey everybody, welcome to Paul Mash TV, bringing you the very best indie country from all over the world. And now, ladies and gentlemen, he is Paul.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to a brand new edition of Paul Mash TV. We're glad that you could join us today, and we're getting closer to 400. I think we just hit 391 or 392 likes. So if you'd like to be part of our page, just go to Facebook and type in Paul Mash and join our page. We'd love to hear from you. We're always welcome to your feedback too. We love to get emails from you and inboxes from you all the time. So if you'd like to do that, you're more than welcome to join us on that. And if you just so happen to be on YouTube, as I said, just remember the subscribe button is just right down there. So be sure to hit that, and you'll be able to keep in touch with all of our latest episodes when they become available. So stay tuned for that. Right now, from Bristol, England, we have Darren Cinque. And he's another talented artist, and I think you're going to really like him. So without further ado, let's welcome Darren Cinque on Paul Mash TV, starting right now. Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to Paul Mash TV. And we're here in the interview section, and we have with us Darren Cinque from outside of Bristol, England. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Paul. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, no problem. And yeah, we haven't had very many people on the show from England, so it's always a welcome treat to have that. So
that's fine. Yeah. Well, I'm a bit of a traveling man, so I mean, originally from Australia, so I'm moving around a bit.
Okay. Well, the first question I was asked, because everybody has their own story, obviously. I'd like to know exactly what made you decide to become a musician. I mean, I'm sure you have an interesting story on that. So.
I don't know if it's interesting to have a story, but yeah, as a kid, I just always loved listening to music and whatnot. And my older brother was already playing drums and playing in bands at a very, very young age. And so I just wanted to follow in his footsteps. Yeah, I originally wanted to learn guitar, but it just, I don't know what then kind of veered me towards the keys. But yeah, just started learning the organ actually. Actually, no, I do remember that it happened that my brother was learning off an amazing music teacher who he invited me over to his place, and he says, "Oh, look, if you're having trouble deciding which instrument to choose, come into my music room and choose an instrument." So he led me in this room that was just piled from the floor to the ceiling of every musical instrument you could think of. And there in the corner, I just saw this massive Hammond organ sitting there, and I thought, wow, that's what I want to, learn to play. And so it just started from there, really.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's a pretty good story there.
And then it kind of just blossomed on from there, listening to loads of music and, take different styles and trying to, copy them or, learning songs from different artists. And so, yeah, even the songwriting started as a child. So that was back when, I was 8 years old, really. Right. Attempting to write songs, love songs that, an 8-year-old child had absolutely no idea what he was writing about. But, he was trying.
Right. Yeah, well, that's good. Why don't you answer another question for me? What were some of your influences growing up that made you to become a musician? I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of them you could probably come up with.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I can't remember what I was listening to at that age, but I mean, I guess I was heavily influenced by what my teacher was teaching me. He was, giving me loads of songs by the Beatles or Bob Dylan, Elvis Presley, all these songs that I just love the kind of structure and the song kind of style. And and I just kind of followed that idea. And but then over the years, there were just so many other influences. I mean, I even grew up in listening to a lot of hard rock, heavy metal music, I would say, that's coming out of the States and the UK at the time, and just loved it. And I thought, well, some of it I could really relate to, like Deep Purple, where they had the Hammond and whatnot, or Led Zeppelin.
Right, exactly.
Something like Iron Maiden, which, I'm a huge fan. There's no keyboards whatsoever, but I just love the, virtuosic kind of playing and the melodies and the intricate playing. That was just it was mind blowing. And as I progressed with my studies as well, as I then switched to classical piano, so I was studying Bach and Beethoven, and trying to be that virtuosic kind of pianist, and listening still to Iron Maiden. I kind of related the two kind of thing. So there were a lot of shifts from styles, and then as a teenager got into synthesizers and whatnot and drum machines, and so it kind of shifted again to a more electronic sound. Mm-hmm. So there was a lot of experimenting, sampling as well. So it's all loads of fun. Yeah.
Well, that's good. So have you decided to come out with any albums, or have had any albums in the past? Maybe you could talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, as over the years, I have kind of played with various bands, and I have recorded and performed on various albums that have been released as a group kind of efforts. As a soloist, I've recorded numerous songs, and I've had put them together with an idea of with a song title. An album title. Not officially putting it out. It's just kind of all lingering around there. There is the idea of an album, or probably several albums, with the amount of songs that I've got. So I hope that one day, it can be compiled and say, okay, this is an official album, and let's put it out there. But,
okay.
Not as such.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. In just a couple of moments, we're going to be playing a music video from you. What's the name of it? And is there a little story behind that?
Fight for the Young, yeah. This song I wrote probably going back now a few years, 5-6 years ago. It was a time where all of us around the world were watching on the news what was going on in Afghanistan or in the Middle East and whatnot, of war and whatnot. Just certain images really had an effect on me, and so whilst maybe sitting at the piano and then had an eye at the TV and seeing these images, this song just came to air, really. And so I just put it all down on the paper, and it pretty much wrote itself pretty quickly, just because how affected I was by what I saw on TV and knew what was happening. So it's really, your anti-war song that's hopefully fighting for peace, with peace, and with a special reflection to children who get caught up in certain circumstances, whether that be war or even just child labor and whatnot. So child rights being really neglected and not given a fair treatment. So I thought, it had to be heard, and something that I hope it's one of my little efforts that can help us get towards that one day, to reach peace around the world.
Okay. Well, that's good, man. Well, Darren, I guess that's about all I really need from you right now, and we appreciate you being on the show. We'd love to have you back sometime if you ever want to come back.
Love to, Paul. Thank you.
And so anyway, we're going to play this song for you. What's the title of it again?
Fight for the Young.
Fight for the Young. So here it is right here on Paul Mash TV. Don't go away.
Changed, but we're still the same when we look what's past. children in pain for somebody's selfish gain. Prayers are sent to the sky, holding on